Welcome back to my kitchen and welcome back to my channel. Let's cook something delicious. Pull up a chair and let's get cooking together. Today we are going to do the Kiko Man turkey brine for our turkey for Thanksgiving tomorrow. So this turkey has been in the refrigerator for 4 days thawing out. So now we're gonna pull it out and get it ready. First thing we're gonna do is open it up, take out all the inside, neck, giblets, all of that. Rinse it off real good. All the insides out. Got the turkey washed off. Now we just need a nice big clean 5-gallon bucket. Got our bucket ready. Now you're going to add 2 gallons of cold water. Got our 2 gallons of water. Now you're going to add a whole 10 ounces of Kiko Man soy sauce. Pour all that in. Good to the last drop, folks. Then you need, it calls for a half a cup of kosher salt. I'm using a little less than a 1/4 cup. The last time I made this, it was a little too salty. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather add more salt later if I need it than be too salty. Half a cup of sugar. Right on down in there. We're gonna need a tablespoon of thyme. Drop that in. 2 tablespoons of sage. 1 and 2. Then you just stir this all around until the salt dissolves. And you plop that turkey right on down in there. I don't hear any more salt in there, so grab hold of that turkey and plop them right on in there, babe. There he goes. Look at that. He just kind of submerges right down in there. You're going to cover this. And you're just going to let it marinate in all this brine for 8 hours or overnight, up to 24 hours. Almost 19 hours later, and we got our turkey all brined. We're just going to set the bucket in one side of the sink, put the turkey in the other, and rinse it off. All right. Pull that little baby out of there. Ooh. Alright, look down in there. Look at all them. You can't see, it's too dark, but all those spices are down in that. So you're just going to rinse this off a little bit, and then you're going to put it in your roasting pan. Oh, that bird looks nice. Alright, so I know that we brined this, but I'm still going to separate this fat in between the fat and the skin, and I'm going to shove some butter, pats of butter up in there. So you can see them up under there. That's just to give it some extra moisture. Now we're going to cover this with some foil very tightly. Put it in the oven at 325 for 15 to 20 minutes per pound. So this is about a 17-pound turkey. We're going to cook this 4.5 to 5.5 hours. Again, this isn't necessary. I just find it a nice tip. As you saw, the wings were all spread out. I'm just taking and putting a couple toothpicks to keep it closer to the body as it cooks. Just make sure you pull those out if you do this before you serve it. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water into the bottom of the pan to give it a little bit of start, but it will make its own juice. And honestly, I'm just like covering the bottom. I'm not even doing an inch or anything. So I just have the bottom barely coated. We got that nice and tight. Now we're going to put it in the oven. Our turkey's been in for an hour, so we're going to pull it out and baste it and then put it right back in. After an hour, this is looking good, and boy, is it smelling delicious. So we're just going to make sure it gets juiced up and stays juiced up. We're going to throw it back in. for another hour, and then we'll pull it out and baste it again. Third hour, basting this baby again. Oh, she popped. That means it's about done.
It popped the last time. I'll probably tell you later to get mad at me.
And we're just gonna put her back in. She's done and juicy. Welcome back to our kitchen and welcome back to our channel. Let's cook something delicious. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. This is going to be stuffing for 2 different Thanksgiving meals. So pull up a chair and let's get cooking together. Your ingredients, different types of bread, some sourdough, some French rolls, some baguettes. All your fresh ingredients, oregano, thyme, basil, and sage, mushrooms, butter, chicken broth, onion, fresh garlic, salt, pepper, Lipton onion soup mix, and Jimmy Dean hot sausage. All right, we're gonna cube up this bread. We're gonna start off with our sourdough, and what you wanna do is you just wanna slice it down, and then you're gonna chop it, and you want squares about that size. So you want them to be bigger size, and that way when you add all your juices, they squish together nicely. And I forgot, we're gonna need a big old pan to put all this in. That might not even be big enough, but we're gonna try. So we're gonna do half of all of our bread first for 1 serving or 1 meal, and then we're gonna do the other half. I got the sourdough in there, and he's working on the rolls. How's it going over there?
It's going good. It's just easier just to do that.
You can't put a whole one in there. You have to cut it up.
Well, it'll just fall apart when you cook it, right? Why are you cutting yours up?
Because you have to cut it up into cubes.
That's like cubes.
No. That's still not a cube. Ugh. So we got our pan of bread all cubed up. He's working on the last bit for the second batch, which we've got here and over there. Now I'm gonna cut up some of the mushrooms. I got the mushrooms cut up. You just want them in like smaller pieces. You don't want them too fine, just pretty diced. And we're gonna add those right in on the bread. So there's your ratio for your bread and your mushrooms. Next, we need to add in our onion soup mix. And we're just gonna sprinkle that all on top. And it doesn't matter what order you put all of this in. You just want all your dry ingredients in first. We're gonna do up our fresh sage, basil, thyme, and oregano. Oh, that's sage. This one's the oregano. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull the leaves off of these. You're just gonna pull everything right off the stems. Because you don't want the stem, so we're just gonna pull all this right off. And then we're gonna cut it up real fine. So, like I said, we're starting here with the oregano. We'll get all those pulled off, and then we'll get it all chopped up. Don't leave anything behind, all them little leaves. We have that all off the stems, and then we're just gonna go in and we're just gonna slice it all up and mince it so that it looks like the little dried pieces that you get in the dried. But this is fresh, and it's good, and it smells so awesome. That right there is about what you want, folks. Look at that. So that's your nice, fresh oregano, and we're gonna cut this in half because we're gonna use half in our stuffing and half in the second stuffing. Add that oregano right in on top, and now we're gonna do the same for our basil. So these are bigger leaves, but we are gonna just pull them right off the stems. We're not gonna use any of the stems, and we're going to dice them up just as small. I start this off by rolling it into a tight ball and cutting it up. Your oregano, the basil is all chopped up now. Again, just in nice format. We're gonna go ahead and cut this in half, half for one stuffing meal, half for the other. And we're gonna add it right on in on top of everything else. With our thyme, all you need to do is pull this backwards right off the stem and then maybe cut it up just a little bit since it's coming off like this. We just kind of really want these little teeny tiny leaves. All right, so if you pull those off backwards, you mostly get what you need, the little tiny pieces, but you get a little bit of the other parts in there too. So we're gonna go ahead and just chop this up just a little bit. So we have our thyme all nice and fine. We're actually gonna take this and we're actually going to cut it not in half because I need about a tablespoon for the turkey. So I'm gonna take about a tablespoon away and then I'm gonna cut this in half and put half and half the stuffing and half in the other half of stuffing. So we're just gonna plop that right on in there with everything else. Our last herb that we're gonna add in is the sage. We're gonna pull these off of the stems. We're gonna cut them up just fine like the other ones. He's cutting up the garlic that we're gonna end up splitting in half again. And I've got the sage pulled. Now I just need to chop it up. All right, we have our sage all cut up. This is something else we're gonna use in the turkey and we need about 2 tablespoons. So I'm gonna take that and pull that aside. That looks like about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm gonna take and cut this in half and put half in the stuffing and set the other half aside for the second stuffing we're making. So we're just gonna put that greenery right on top as well. Other than the garlic we're working on, the only other fresh ingredient we need to chop up is an onion. So we're gonna get this all diced up nice and small. We kind of want this minced, but that's just our preference because we don't like the chunks. We just like a little bit of the taste. So this is gonna be very finely done. We have half this onion diced up, nice and fine, like minced onions, like on a McDonald's burger. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that right on into the stuffing mix. All right, garlic master's done. So we're gonna divide that in half and put half in this batch, and then we're gonna put half in the other batch. I'm only showing one batch at a time, so get this divided up here and put half and half. There we go. And I'm working on these onions for the second half, and these will also be for the loaded cheesy potato casserole. All right, so we have our big old pan with everything that we had so far, all of our fresh ingredients chopped up. Probably took us 2 hours to chop everything. I don't know, something like that. We're gonna add in our salt. Now I measure with my heart. I don't use measuring things, but basically you just want to kind of sprinkle it over the whole top. Bread doesn't have a lot of saltiness, so you kind of go a little heavy on it, and it isn't heavy at all. Then we're going to add in our pepper. We're just going to sprinkle that right on top as well. That looks good. 1 stick of melted butter. Since we melted it in the microwave, it's a little warm. So since I'm going to put my hands in here and mix it all around, I'm just going to add some of the chicken broth right in here to cool it off a little bit first. All right. Now we're just going to drizzle this right on the top. You definitely want that whole stick of butter, and then you're just going to substitute to make it wet with the chicken broth. If you noticed, I didn't put my salt and pepper away because we don't use eggs in our stuffing. I'm going to be able to taste this after this is all mixed together. This will also tell me how moist it is. You're going to let this sit overnight and just top it off in the morning if you need to with some more broth. But we'll get this mixed together. So you just want to mix this around. You want it to be nice and moist so that you can actually, if you wanted to, you could form these into little stuffings. So when it does that, you know you have enough. We're going to let this sit overnight, and that way it gets nice and moist down in there. In the morning, we're going to cook the sausage, add the sausage, and throw it in the oven. The next step for our stuffing is frying up our sausage. So I like to take and put my pan on medium. I like to start it off with just a little bit of oil in the bottom of my pan. Even though the sausage makes some, it's always nice. We're gonna let that heat up, and we're gonna put our sausage in. All right, the point of getting that nice and warm is because when I pop it in there, I want it to sizzle a little bit and start browning on the bottom right away. So we got this warm, and we're just gonna pop it right on in. And then we're gonna chop it up. See? It's sizzling. We're just going to take and mash this up and let this get good and crispy cooked. I absolutely love this Pampered Chef. It's by Pampered Chef, and it is the masher. I'm not exactly sure what they call it, but it is such good quality, and it's very thick and heavy duty. I use this all the time, so if you don't have one, I recommend getting one. They do make other versions, you know, other companies make them, but this is a really good one. It's lasted for at least 15 years. All right, so our sausage is done. It's not pink anymore. We don't want to overcook it because we are going to put it in the stuffing, and we do want some of that grease to go down into the stuffing. So we're just going to turn this off right now, and we're going to let this cool a little bit because we're going to hand mix this in the stuffing. We have our sausage cooked and cold. It does have a little bit of grease, not a lot, but we're going to add that all right into the stuffing. And we're going to mix that all in as well. Now that grease is good. It'll keep that stuffing nice and moist. It's not cooked entirely. It is cooked entirely, but the sausage is cooked entirely. It's just not browned, so it will release a little more grease. We're just going to mix this all up in together. Now this is a point of making some of the bigger cubes because then they can mush down. You can also, when you put it in there, I just kind of twist and turn so that I have loose pieces and big pieces. Now, since there's no eggs in this or anything, and the sausage is already pre-cooked, we're going to put some foil on this, put it in the oven at 350 for about a half an hour. Then we're going to take the topping off, and we're going to cook it for another 10 to 15 minutes just so it gets browned on top. We got it all covered. The point of this is just to get it nice and warm. We still want to keep it moist, but then we want to take that off, like I said, about 10-15 minutes afterwards to get it browned. So in the oven it's going. Middle rack at 350. We have our stuffing has been in for 30 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and pull that out. This smells so good. Oh my gosh, look at that nice moist stuffing in there. Mushrooms, sausage, fresh herbs and spices. Nice and moist. Oh, it's getting that nice thing on the bottom, nice and crispy on the bottom. So we're just going to stir this around, folks. I'm going to put this back in for 10 minutes. Let it get a little crispy on the top. Still stays nice and moist. Isn't a dried out stuffing. Garlic. Oh, gosh, does this ever smell good. Popping that back in there for 10 minutes just to brown on top. All right, stuffing is done. Let's see how crispy it looks. That is to perfection. I'm going to can't even talk today, but anyhow, I'm going to put this over into a crock pot. Just keep it on warm to take to work. But for now, there you have it. Does that not look delicious? Hey folks, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to our kitchen. Pull up a chair and sit right down. We're going to make something delicious. Today, we're making horseradish deviled eggs. First thing you want to do is get your pot with water. And we're going to do 12 eggs. So you're just going to place them right on in here. All right, so I put 13 in there just in case one doesn't happen to peel or something funky, wonky happens with it. You're just going to turn these on and you're going to wait till they come to a full boil. When they do come to a full boil, then you're going to time them from 10 to 12 minutes and let them boil before you take them off. So it's been about 11 minutes. We're going to take these off. We're gonna rinse them in some cold water, then add some ice and some more cold water. So for the deviled eggs, we're gonna need some fresh dill. I have it pulled off and I'm just gonna chop it up just a little bit. After your eggs are cold, you're gonna go ahead and get those peeled. As you peel them, you just wanna cut them in half and put the yolks separate. You wanna mash up your yolks pretty good, and then you're gonna add in a half a cup of mayonnaise. I have a 1/4 cup. I'm going to add the other 1/4 cup to make the half cup. 2 tablespoons of horseradish. I have 1, and there's the 2nd tablespoon. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And 2 teaspoons of fresh dill. There's 1. And 2. We're gonna mix that all together. The little bit of dill that's left, we're gonna sprinkle on top with some paprika once we put it into the eggs. Now you can take a piping bag and put it in there, or you can drop this in by the spoonfuls, just right down into your eggs. Dust it with a little bit of smoked paprika. You just wanna make them pretty. That's all this is for. So just lightly tap that on there. Gives them a nice, pretty little color. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of this dill right on top too. Doesn't really matter if you hit the eggs, you're just putting it in here.
It kind of does. It's to make them look nice.
It makes them look pretty. And do the same for the top level. And then guess what, folks? There you have that horseradish kissed deviled egg. They are not spicy, but they just have a little bit of horseradish taste. And ooh, are they delicious. You can thank me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. See you on the next video. Welcome back to my kitchen and welcome back to my channel. Pull up a chair and let's cook something delicious. We're going to make our pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. We need 3 eggs, our evaporated milk, pineapple, good lord, pumpkin, pure pumpkin, vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, regular sugar, brown sugar, and a pie crust in a deep dish pie pan. Let's get started. We have our oven preheated to 425. We're going to crack our 3 eggs into our bowl, and then we're going to add our sugar, which we need a half a cup of granulated sugar. We don't really need this because we're not separating our eggs, but I got this from Ototo, and the basket comes out. It's to separate your eggs, and I just wanted to try it out. So we'll just put our egg right in there and dunk it right on down. Look at that. I got the white, the yolk stain. Otato, you really know how to make cool kitchen gadgets. I'm going to go ahead and dump that because I don't need it, but I'm going to try it again. It's pretty cool, especially if you have kids. This is awesome. There you go. Just like that. Whites go down, yolks stay up. Thanks, Otato. We have our eggs in. We need a half a cup of granulated sugar and a half a cup of brown sugar. And we want to pack our brown sugar. We want to whisk this all together. So your 3 eggs, your brown sugar, and your granulated white sugar until it's all mixed well and nice and smooth. You don't need, pumpkin pie is easy to make. You don't need to get out your big old mixer. You can if you want to. I've done enough dishes already, and I'm going to be doing so many more, so I'm just doing this way. Get that all mixed nice and smooth. Add in your whole can of pumpkins in. We're going to add in our whole can of evaporated milk. Milk's in. You need a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Nutmeg is very strong, so I wouldn't suggest putting more than that. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. You want 1 to 2 teaspoons of ginger paste, so I'm just going to do a heaping spoon. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So that'll just get out the rest of that ginger paste. You're just going to mix this all together until it's nice and silky with no lumps. So we're just going to mix, 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 mix. Our pie crusts were in the refrigerator. I got them out and left them sit for 15-20 minutes to get to be room temperature. You're going to place this in your ungreased 9-inch deep dish pie pan, and you're going to slowly unroll this nice and carefully so it doesn't stick. You're gently going to put it down in and make sure that it's into the corners and just let it flute itself. Now with this other one, we're actually going to make some leaves to put on top of our pumpkin pie. You're going to pour that mixture right into your pie crust. We have that all in there. I'm going to make these. I'm not going to put them on until closer to the end. I want this to firm up some first. So we're going to bake this at 425 for 15 minutes. Then we're going to turn it down to 350 for another 35 to 45 minutes. These babies work really cool. So you just take it and press it down like here. And when you pick it up, oh, that one didn't stay. I say it works really cool and then it didn't work. But when you pick it up, it stays in there and you just push it right on out. Except for I just can't get it there.
You're not putting the little things in them.
Here we go. It's going in. 425, 15 minutes. So you have to push it down, but then you push this down to indent it. Pop it up, and there you go. So see, you push it down, push it down to stamp it, pop it up. See how beautiful they are? These are pretty cool.
You don't need to push down that much force. Oh, you didn't push the other thing down.
So we're past our 15 minutes. It's looking okay. I think we're going to pull that out and put some foil around the crust. So we pulled that out because we're going to put some foil on it. We're going to go ahead and put our leaf design on, and we're going to give them just a little bit of an egg wash, and then we're going to put foil all over the edges. We need to lower our temperature to 350 and put it back in for 35 to 45 minutes. And now our crust shouldn't get burnt. It's been 35 minutes. It looks like it could go another 10. This pumpkin pie is all done now. Just gonna pull that baby right on out. We'll pull off our little makeshift. Oh, I lost one. We gotta let this cool down. And there you have it, Thanksgiving pumpkin pie. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. See you on the next video. Welcome back to our kitchen. Welcome back to our channel. Pull yourself up a chair, sit down, and let's cook some cheesy loaded mashed potato casserole. You're gonna need lots of ingredients for this, and obviously lots of cheese. You need 8 russet potatoes, washed and peeled. We're gonna peel them, they're washed. You need onions and fresh garlic. We've got that. We need Philadelphia cream cheese. We need orange cheese, white cheese, Bourbon cheese. This is what I was told makes it. Heavy whipping cream, butter, and bacon. So we're gonna get to peeling our potatoes, cutting them up. We're gonna cook them first. While they're cooking, we're gonna bake our bacon, cook our bacon, whatever we're doing with our bacon. We're just gonna make it happen.
We're making bacon.
We're just making bacon. Got some teamwork here. He's peeling the potatoes. I'm gonna use this Guidel grater because it is my favorite thing in the entire kitchen. And I'm going to grate this cheese. I mean, except for when you're in the kitchen, then you're the greatest thing in the kitchen.
We're kind of in the kitchen right now.
I really love
like
this.
Half the kitchen, dining room.
Within seconds, this sucker grates this cheese perfect. You always want to use a block cheese, not the bag cheese, because the bag cheese has waxes and paraffins, and this melts down creamy and smooth. So that 8 ounces made a little more than 2 cups, but we're sticking with it because this is only 7 ounces, so it's going to make a little less. This is a smoked cheddar cheese. We're going to grate it up. All the cheese is shredded. We got it in the refrigerator for now. Frying up the bacon and cutting the potatoes to boil them. You're gonna boil them just like you would mashed potatoes, and then we're gonna mash them and then add all the ingredients together. While the bacon's still cooking, we're gonna get these on. We're gonna put them in, add a little bit of kosher salt. We're gonna bring them to a boil, cook them for about 5 minutes, pull them off, drain them, mash them. Bacon's done. I poured the majority of the grease out, but I'm leaving a little bit in there because we're gonna saute our onions and garlic. We're gonna just saute these up a little bit, not too much. Pull them off the heat. All right, so that's pulled off. We're gonna waiting for these to put to boil. Potatoes are drained. Now we just wanna smush them up some. Gonna add in 8 ounces of cream cheese. Your whole thing of Bourbon garlic herb cheese. 6 tablespoons of butter, your heavy whipping cream, you're going to stir that around till it's light and fluffy. Add in the sauteed onions and garlic, and add some pepper, add some salt. Even though we got garlic in there, we're going to add a little bit of garlic powder. And even though we have onion, we're going to add a little bit of onion powder as well.
Unfortunately, it does. But talk to me, because I would love to come here.
Last thing you're going to do is you're going to add half your yellow cheese, half your white cheese. You're going to put it in a greased baking dish.
I'm not saying that the Dallas Cowboys are barbecue sales, but it's getting real hard to keep convincing people that football's not selling food.
Did they throw that last?
Yep. We're going to transfer it right into this baking dish. Smooth that all in here. Going to put the remaining cheese on top, and then we're going to put it in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes until the cheese is bubbly and golden. All right, so now it's going to go in the oven. All right, you pull this out. We're going to add a little sour cream and bacon bits.
That doesn't really run worth a damn.
And there you have it.
The thing that upsets me is you can't base.
Welcome back to our kitchen and welcome back to our channel. We're going to make up something delicious. Today we're going to make some bourbon candied yams in our casserole dish. You can do it in the oven, you can do it on the stove or a crock pot. We're going to do it in a crock pot dish. You just want a couple of your sweet baked potatoes. We're going to peel these and we're going to cut them up. People cut them in slices. I like to do mine in dices. Sweet potatoes are peeled. We have about 2 pounds of sweet potatoes. Like I said, a lot of people will actually slice these into slices just the whole way across. I prefer mine diced up, so that's what we're gonna do. Sweet potatoes are diced up into a nice size. We're just gonna put them in our little crock pot over here. Gonna add in 1 stick of butter right on top. Then the diabetes kicks in because we're going in with 1 cup of sugar, and this is 1/3 of a cup, so I just need 3 of these. 1 cup of brown sugar. Babe, we need a shot to put in this bourbon, to put in these candied yams.
How's this one work?
Buffalo Trace. All right, fill her up. One shot of bourbon. We're doing Buffalo Trace. You need the juice and the zest of 1 orange. Now this is a huge orange, so I'm only going to do half of this orange. This is my cool little gnome Ototo zester that I got. He has this nice little shield on him. And he just zests that orange. So we're gonna go ahead and get that zest in. So we're going to go in and we're going to add our juice. This acid in the orange is going to level this up, and it's also going to take out some of the extra sweetness of all those sugars. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract going in. We're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of the butter extract and the maple extract. Butter extract, maple extract. 1 teaspoon of ginger paste. There we go. 1 to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, so we're just going to measure with our heart. That looks about good. A pinch of nutmeg. Nutmeg is very strong, so you definitely do not want to overdo this. You do just want a pinch. And a pinch of salt. Now we're just going to put our crock pot lid on this. And since we're not eating for a couple hours, I want to cook this low and slow. I'll let that butter melt. So I'm only going to put it on warm. I'll probably turn it up here in a little bit. And the finished product. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below. Stay tuned for our next video. We already prepared our stuffing for the day that I had to take it into work. I made 2 containers, and that video was earlier. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in our crock pot. Now you only want to fill this about 3/4 full in case it swells. It will not swell because we've already left it soak in the juices. It's still really nice and moist because we didn't cook this batch of this version. So I put another little bit in the smaller crock pot. This freezes well, so we'll probably have a lot left over. We can freeze it, have it ready for for Christmas. And you're just gonna set that on low, and you're gonna stir it every once in a while and make sure it stays moist. If it starts to dry out, add a little bit of broth. Hey everybody, welcome back to our kitchen and welcome back to our channel. Grab a chair, sit back, and let's make some honey roasted Brussels sprouts and balsamic glaze together. The first thing you want to do is wash off your Brussels sprouts. And then you want to cut off any bad spots. I like to cut the end a little bit, and then I cut them in half. So when I cut your Brussels sprouts in half, I like to do them lengthwise and not this way because I don't want somebody to get just mostly the stem and mostly the top. Don't worry about if the leaves fall off. Some people do worry about that because of the presentation, but personally, I think the leaves falling off and they crisp up a little bit differently gives it a different texture, and I like the crispy leaves. So you're just gonna plop them all down in your bowl here. You can add regular olive oil. I am using some garlic Italian infused olive oil. You just wanna drizzle that all over them. Get a good healthy dose on there. And then you want to go in with some salt and pepper. You're going to drizzle it with some honey. And a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Now this is just to marinate because you're actually going to coat it once they're done and out of the oven with a little more balsamic glaze. You're gonna fold that all in. We have some fresh grated Parmesan. We're gonna add a little bit in here now, and then the rest will be topped off after it's cooked, along with that balsamic glaze. That looks really good. So we're just gonna mix that all together. We're just gonna put a lid on this and we're gonna let this sit before we bake it. We wanna set our oven to 425. Spray some Pam on your baking sheet. Put them in a single layer. Now that the oven is preheated, we're going to put them in the oven for 14 to 17 minutes till they get brown and crispy. The timer went off, so you're going to pull these babies out. Douse them with some balsamic vinaigrette. Add some fresh shredded Parmesan right on top. It'll melt since they're hot. And then you're just going to serve them right on up. This is the best way to have Brussels sprouts, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Happy Thanksgiving from our house to yours.